Clontarf Castle is a much modernized castle which dates back to 1837 in Clontarf, Dublin, Ireland. This area is famous for being a key location in the Battle of Clontarf in 1014, and there has been a castle on this site ever since 1172. The first castle on the grounds of Clontarf, of which no trace remains, was built in 1172 by either Hugh de Lacy, Lord of Meath, or his tenant. The castle was subsequently held by the Knights Templar until their suppression in 1308, when it passed to the Knights Hospitaller. The Knights Hospitaller were in turn deprived of the castle during the dissolution of the monasteries. The last prior, named John Dawson, was created Viscount Clontarf in 1541 in return for surrendering the castle and its lands to the crown. In the year 1600, Queen Elizabeth I granted the estate to Geoffrey Fenton, her Secretary of State for Ireland, and it passed by marriage from his descendants into the King family. George King of Clontarf took part in the Irish Rebellion of 1641, and as a result his lands were confiscated. After the Cromwellian conquest of Ireland, the Clontarf Castle estate was given to Captain John Blackwell in 1649. Blackwell afterwards sold his interest to John Vernon, the Quartermaster General of Cromwell's army. The Vernon family was to remain in possession for some 300 years after directly living on the property or leasing it to its tenants. In 1933, the castle was sold from the Vernon family to its current tenants, the Olton family. In 1952, the current owner, J.G. Fulton, died in the castle, leaving it to his son Desmond, who subsequently sold the property to pay death duties and other expenses. The castle remained vacant until 1957 and subsequently changed hands several times over the next few decades. It became a popular cabaret venue from 1972 until 1998. It also opened to the public as a 4-star, 111-room hotel in June of 1997. The current building dates back to 1837 and was designed by the Irish architect William Morrison for John Vernon, the current owner, at his request. The previous building on the site had been found to be unsafe. The Clontarf Castle Hotel has been significantly enlarged by the addition of modern wings. Most of the former estate lands are long since sold off for housing, but there is a small garden area and ornamental gatehouse in the car parking out in front of the castle. The castle itself has become a representation of many different forms of art, music, and literature. George Frederick Handel was a frequent visitor to the castle during his stay in Dublin for the premiere of his Messiah in 1742. The lady of the house at the time, Dorothy Vernon, was from Hanover and was particularly intimate with the composer, who wrote a piece called Forest Music for her, said to combine German and Irish melodies. The neighboring area of Dollymount is traditionally said to be named after this lady. Clontarf Castle was painted by J.M.W. Turner, although he never visited it. It is said to be his only Irish subject. His patron, Walter Farks, was married to Maria Sophia Vernon of Clontarf, and one of her sketches is believed to have been the basis of the finished watercolor. The work was mislabeled, and the subject was only positively identified in 1998. It depicts the castle building previous to the current structure. Some childhood memories of the castle in the early years of the 20th century appear in Enemies of Promise by the writer Cyril Connolly, whose mother was one of the Vernon family. The castle is referred to by Phil Lynott of the Irish rock group Thin Lizzy in his song The Friendly Ranger at Clontarf Castle, the opening track on their 1971 debut album, Thin Lizzy. Just a short walk away from Clontarf Castle is the townhouse where Bram Stoker, author of Dracula, was born and grew up. It is thought that Clontarf Castle may have been an inspiration for his story and for the Home of Dracula. We were recently at Clontarf Castle for 4 nights while on a business trip for Michael's company. I was recovering from an accident, and I can't recommend enough, if you gotta recover, then you might as well recover in a castle, but we were really privileged to get to spend so much time at this beautiful place. This is the view out of our window in our hotel room, which was completely unobscured the first day we were there, and I'm glad I got this video. It sounds like there might be a school or playground or something on the other side of these trees, because we did hear a lot of children laughing and playing, and that was really sweet. But on the second day we were at the castle, they actually did mostly obstruct our view with some scaffolding because they were upgrading the exterior windows to make them more soundproof. This is what days 2, 3, and 4 look like looking out of our window, but the guys were really friendly. I always waved. And this is the bathroom I wanted to show you because I thought it was beautiful. I really love gray, and so that's my favorite color. They did a great job. They cleaned it every single day and restocked it every single day, which I'm not used to because a lot of hotels in the US don't actually do that. But they kept it clean. It was wonderful. We actually have a plug that can be used in almost any outlet in the world. I think it's called a universal plug. But we were surprised to see that there were both USB and American plugs in the hotel. That was great. So we were able to charge all of our electronics without having to share the plug. The first night we were at the castle, Michael and I were really tired from traveling, so we decided to do room service for dinner. Room service comes from one of the 2 restaurants inside the castle. This restaurant is called the Knight's Bar, and we each ordered an 8-ounce beef burger. Also, this cheese plate is actually on the dessert menu, but if you don't miss it, it was well worth getting. The cheese was delicious. I'm fairly new to making my own coffee, and this is the coffee pot that comes in the room with instant coffee, but it was actually really, really good. I was surprised. I've never had instant coffee that tasted quite this good. And this is the place where they serve breakfast every morning. I believe it does come with your room. It was not an upcharge for us. It's actually a full breakfast buffet with all different types of breads and pastries, fruit, spreads, and also a large carnivore's dream come true. Eggs multiple different ways, sausage, bacon, turkey sausage. I was in heaven. I had breakfast every single day we were there except the very first day when I didn't know about this, and it was absolutely delicious. I have fallen in love with what they call a full Irish breakfast. On my second day, I decided to actually go down to the Knight's Bar. I was on my own because Michael was in meetings, but I got the same beef burger that I had had the day before, and I actually took it to go back to my room. I just wanted to see what the inside of the bar looked like. I also thought there might be somebody watching this who would like to know what the gym looked like. It's actually a very long walk down some halls. You have to follow signs to get there, but I had Michael record a clip and tell us what he thought of the gym experience at Clontarf Castle.
So now I'll take you to the gym. This was very hard to find, folks, in this old hotel, and it was in the bottom floor. The -1 floor is what it's called. A very basic gym. I told Julie I thought it was a joke when in the book it's located in your room, telling you all the details about the castle, that it had a treadmill, a climbing machine, and a rowing machine. It was no joke. So was a very basic workout. Used the treadmill, used the elliptical, did not use the weights. Unfortunately, they only go up to 25 pounds. Julie knows that I typically like to look at gyms first when we're booking hotels, but this was a work trip, so I had what I had, and I worked with it. But Julie filmed here while I was in meetings that day.
All in all, we had a really good time staying at the Clontarf Castle, and I'm really grateful for the privilege that we had to be able to spend so many days there. I got as much footage as I could, and I loved learning about the castle. Most of what I shared in this video I got actually from the Wikipedia page and also Clontarf Castle Hotel's actual website. There are a few discrepancies in things like dates, and I'm not sure if I've gotten quite everybody's name quite right. I did the best I could to pronounce things correctly. But since I didn't know for 100% sure what some of the names and dates were, I went with the ones that I thought I saw most frequently on my Google searching. But I really enjoyed learning about the castle, and I would highly recommend it. I hope someday that I can go back because it was beautiful, it was stunning, and absolutely just pristine inside. One of my favorite hotel experiences anywhere I've ever been.